Hello, everyone, and welcome to another This Week in Eorzea. With me, as always, is the fantastic and exhausted Pyra. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for the welcome. You look as exhausted as I am.
I look how you feel. I
Yeah.
am the mirror with which you can see your soul.
Staring right back at me.
Also, this is what happens when you spend 3 days in the gold saucer nonstop. So more on that later. We've got some news. Like, holy Hannah. Fall Guys collab starts on Wednesday, which coincides with the Moogle Tome event. So if you, like me, want to spend your entire life in the gold saucer, you can make bank. So, yay!
And Fall Guys.
And Fall Guys. So anyone who's still working towards those titles, King and Queen Bean, are you anywhere near that? Did you even try? What is your thought?
I wanted to say I tried. I am good at not winning. So the winning part never really showed up, but maybe I can give my hand at it again. The first time it came out, I got every single item, so I'm
Mhm.
just in it for funsies and now for the Moogle Tome event.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not close either. I've won a couple of times, but only because Dynamis gets really quiet at night. So if you can sneak into one of those matches where there's only like 2 people, you have a 50-50 chance of winning if you don't lose. So if you don't get knocked out before the end, you have a 50-50 chance of winning. So yeah, the bad part is, yes. So last time we did hear about some potential shenanigans going on.
Mm.
And they've said explicitly on the splash page for this event that they're not changing it. It's going to be identical to past versions. So don't be expecting any new runs or any new prizes. It's just going to be the same old, same old.
Do you think they'll continue that? Do you think they'll ever put anything new in, or just we're getting it the same every time?
I would hope, but they're being so vague on it. They're like, "Oh, well, this is going to happen at irregular intervals from now to sometime in the future." So, they're being so vague on the terms of this collab and what it means that I'm not sure if we would ever expect anything new. But you know what? Even if it's just another way to earn Moogle Tomes, another way to buy those specialty dies, it is what it
Mm,
is, right? So,
absolutely. I have fun with it,
um
so I'm a sucker for a Fall Guys shenanigans.
I like all of it except for that one part where you're like running on the ramp or the like balance board, and it's got the auto run in a random direction thing on you. Very
Mhm.
difficult to control with a controller. It just breaks my brain every time.
Oh.
So I
Yep.
always pray for the other one.
That's fair.
So yeah, we're in a Moogle Tome event. If anyone hasn't been in game, now is kind of a time to get back into it. There are a lot of items on the Moogle Tome. We went over it last week, so I'm not going to elaborate too much on it. And we got confirmation of the second 7.1 live letter, November 1st. So
I'm very excited for that. That's a Friday too. It's the
yeah,
day after Halloween, which is gonna be a little fun. But
everyone's
Friday,
gonna
which
look
is
like me. Yeah.
smeared paint from the night before face page is like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
Yoshi P, what you got?
so no, it's going to tell us quite a bit more about what to expect in 7.1. It's going to tell us a date for 7.1. I can't imagine they would get that close and not give us a date. So they're gonna we kind of know already, but they're going to really like plaster it, let us know, confirmed. We're expecting it like middle of November, the 12th, or what have
The
you.
12th is the best prediction I've seen so far,
Mhm.
based on, I mean, if you followed the game for long enough, all these live letters and patch cycles and everything have a formulated kind of dates. So unless they go off the beating path, it should probably be the 12th for 7.1.
Absolutely. Okay. And they have released a new item on the online store, something they have never done before, and this is a new adventurer's supply kit. So I have this kind of pulled up. So have you taken a look at this, Pyra, or were you kind of AWOL when this was going down?
Definitely AWOL because New York doesn't like cell phone service.
Fair enough. Okay, so get this. So it's an account-wide item that is $9.99 USD. Okay, so
Okay.
10 bucks. All items are account-wide. It has Menfina's earring, a Fantasia, 99 Aetherite tickets, a Ballroom Etiquette Improper Praise #4, and a Red Moon parasol. All included, all account-wide for 10 bucks, which is essentially the price of a Fantasia. So,
Did they hear our complaints about
maybe,
the mug
maybe.
store?
So, yeah, they're offering a curated selection of popular optional items for a bundled price when you buy them together.
Huh. I wonder if this is going to be a typical thing that we see moving forward. This might be a
I
test.
honestly hope so.
Me too.
Yeah.
Huh. Almost like a gift box. Or not a gift, like, not a mystery box, but like a similar theory. Like, hey, we're going to give you a bunch of kind of random curated stuff for a discount. Buy it now. I mean, I would buy that. $10. Shoot, that's
Right.
nothing. Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like a just like discount box. It's like
Yeah.
we have too much of this in our online warehouse and we need to get rid of it. No. But great idea. I am going to venture that they're looking at this rather intently and
Mm.
seeing how sales on it go. And obviously, if people are willing to buy a selection of items for a good price, then maybe they will start discounting more of these items or offering deals on a bunch of different things.
Mhm. I'm excited to hear about this, honestly, because
Mhm,
I same thing. I think that this could be one blip on their research to
mhm.
maybe do more things like this in the future. And even if they're older items, I think it's still valid. Like I get if it's not like the fry egg one that they just gave us, but
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
kind of bundle a bunch of stuff, it's gonna probably make me open my purse a little bit more.
Well, you know what? I buy Fantasia quarterly anyway. But you know what? I need a Fantasia, but if I want to spend the same amount and get a pack of 99 Aetherite tickets, and the Red Moon parasol, which I don't have, that's still a deal to me. Even
Mhm.
though, like, I imagine a lot of people probably have Menfina's earring, because that came as was it a pre-order bonus or was it a
I think so. I think it
yeah,
was either a pre-order bonus or it
or the
was one of
collector's
the
edition.
collectors,
Yeah.
exactly. Mhm.
Um, and I mean, I think I bought the improper praise already, which is the emotes, the different colored waving stick emotes.
Oh,
The
gotcha.
violet
Yeah,
and
yeah.
white, and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't
So,
get those. So even like that, I'm like,
there
wow,
you
that's a
go.
lot of stuff for
Yeah.
$10. Like, mm.
So, yeah, keep your eye out for something like that. If you want to encourage this kind of behavior, and you have the funds to do so, definitely consider picking it up because it is a step in the right direction for the online store, which we have been a little bit critical of for us. Like a little bit critical of for us. Yeah. Um yeah. What is that? We are going to do like what is next?
What is
What is
that?
that? We are going to do a community check-in this week. I promise. This one we're going to check in with your Moogle Tome event progress. Have you had any time to spend on Moogle Tomes yet?
No, because it started while I was in New York,
Mm,
and I just got back to my house about 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. So I have not touched it yet.
awesome.
Goose egg. How about you?
Uh So here's the deal, and this is kind of my tip of the week too. So we can combine the two of them. So I've been playing other games, as you know. I've been playing through Dragon Age, and I didn't really want to let that go, but I didn't want to miss out on Moogle Tomes either. So today's tip of the week is, if you want to farm Moogle Tomes, but don't really want to spend a lot of time in 14, camp yourself in the Gold Saucer and just do the gates. Now, I've been doing that for the last 3 evenings. I've had my console on, and I've been, like, playing 14 every time there's a gate, but in those 20 minutes in between, I've been playing Dragon Age 2. So, my husband walks in the room, and he's like, "How many video games are you playing?" All of them.
All of them.
But even just doing that over the last 3 days, I've earned 360 Moogle Tomes.
Wow, that's insane.
360 Moogle Tomes. So,
Okay.
it's not a small amount. So if you want to make Moogle Bank and you want to be very efficient about it while doing other things like playing with your kids or petting your dog or, watching your favorite shows, consider it. It's a good way to do it, especially with Fall Guys dropping on Wednesday. So,
Ooh. Love to
yeah.
hear. You're hoarding all the maps.
I'm going to, yeah, those level 70 maps, definitely mine. I bought the donut earring, but then I'm probably just gonna bank a whole bunch of Moogle Tomes and cash them in kinda all at once, so I get that really, really good feeling of being super productive. That's what I'm hoping for.
Love it.
Okay. On to this week's hot topic. So, you have been missing. You have not been doing anything. You haven't had internet. What have you been up to?
So for those who don't know, I was at New York Comic Con all 4 days. 99% of it was because of work. My full-time job, we had a booth at the con, so I was there for both manning the booth and on the marketing department side. But yeah, so I just got home from New York today. I actually stopped working 1 a.m. this morning last night, so I'm kind of fried.
Oh my
We didn't get
god.
out of yeah. Ooh, I tell you, I have a deepened appreciation for folks who vend at those events because I was not prepared. Um, but yeah, it's wild. Um, got there Thursday, halfway through the day, and immediately it was like crowded, like thousands and thousands and thousands of people. But I got to do a little bit of everything from meeting people to playing new games. Yeah, bunch of stuff.
Awesome. Okay, so did you see any 14 cosplay?
Sadly, no.
What?
This is the first con that I've been to that I haven't seen a single 14 cosplay at all. At all.
Wow.
I
I'm
saw a lot of
disappointed
Cloud
in
and
you, New
Tifa's.
York.
Yeah, New York was something. Like a lot of Cloud and Tifa's though. Like more than I can count, which I know is not Final Fantasy 14, but if we're talking Final Fantasy, every other cosplayer I feel like was Cloud.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mhm.
90% sword. Okay.
Yeah.
Um Okay. Well, that's kind of sad. Anything 14 adjacent?
So yes and no, like not super, but I tried this game. So long story short, the influencer marketing manager from Mecha Break, which is a upcoming free to play game, PvP slash battle royale style game with mechas or like kind of Gundam style um character, not really like fighters, reached out to me right before the show and invited me to come try the demo, to come try what it was all about. um Huge booth. I didn't realize how crazy it is. And if you like PvP, if you like battle royales, if you like free to plays, which is great, And then I also was told it kind of has elements of Final Fantasy 14 and Overwatch and Warframe, which I didn't get into that rabbit hole of like all
Right.
those different things. Um they specifically pulled those games that were like, if you like those things, you will like this game. Um and I tried it and it's actually really fun. It is a really fun game. Um yeah, so that was one of the only 14 kind of adjacent things, was just like getting to experience that as a content creator and knowing that it's going to be coming up in the near future. It was kind of exciting.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Um, what else really stood out to you about the event? So I've never been to any sort of convention. I am a convention virgin. I've never been. Um, what probably would have caught my attention?
I think just the overwhelming amount of everything there. I've primarily been to gaming conventions before. Like, I'm even wearing my PAX East hoodie. This is the first convention that I went to that was, it's Comic-Con, right? It started out with comics. Um and just the diversity and what is there now. I remember hearing about Comic Cons before, and it really led to just like comics and maybe movies. And they had everything like from pop culture to card games to video games to like board games to individual artists. Like, it is really all about like nerdy pop culture in all its different facets. And that to me was like one of the biggest like the awe moments there too, was because it's no longer just like only for people who want to see like the superheroes. Like, there were just such a wide range of vendors there, and it was kind of neat.
Okay. Any voice actors that you knew?
Voice actors, I didn't get to see any. The one not in gaming, but as a product of the 90s, Tara Strong, who voices Timmy Turner, if you remember like
Oh,
Nickelodeon, like,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
she voices Timmy Turner, she voiced Bubbles and the Powerpuff Girls. She was there. I didn't get to see her, sadly. But there were just like a lot of like celebrities like that there, which I thought was pretty cool. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the venue. So from what I understand, this is a different. Oh my god, I'm gonna sound so Canadian here. From what I understand, this is a different venue than the Final Fantasy 14 North America Fan Fest.
Yes.
Um, was this venue better or worse, or do you have an opinion kind of that way? Like, would Fan Fest have done better
Mm.
in that sort of arena?
If they could afford to be there, I think they would have done way better in New York. It's huge. It is absolutely insanely huge. Um, and I think that is one of the biggest perks of it, and the location as well. It is very, being in New York, it is in a very convenient area in New York, which I thought was really cool. You can walk to everything. You can walk to the hotels, the train stations. I don't think you can walk to like the airport, but like there is plenty of public transportation that can get you to where you need to go. I know I didn't get to go to FanFest, but when I was looking at logistics for FanFest, a lot of it was like either walk a long time or get an Uber, which just felt kind of gross. Um, so New York, I think, could be a good viable option if that's something that they want to put those resources into. With that being said, it is a huge building. So I don't know if a fan fest could ever fill out that size of a convention center, but if it could, I think that they would make a really good money in return if they invested in such a big
Right.
hall.
So now, did you go to the Fan Fest? I can't remember. No.
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
I tried. I couldn't get tickets.
No, that's fair. They were doing by
Yeah.
lottery, right?
Yep.
So one of the biggest concerns they had about the venue was the accessibility. So
Mm.
how did Comic-Con cater to accessibility options, and how did people of all kinds get around the arena?
Yeah, so this is an important topic for me as well, as somebody who grew up with a quadriplegic father.
Mm.
Accessibility is huge. Having wheelchair access, especially, is key. Um, I did see a lot of folks in wheelchairs, and they were able to really get around well, from what I noticed and what I saw. A lot of flat floors. It's like it feels like a big open warehouse, is essentially how it is. Big
Mm.
doors, elevators, special entrances for anybody who has um kind of like an ADA badge or kind of special restrictions, which was really nice. Special lines. So like for instance, like I was working at a booth right next to where the New York Comic Con merch booth was, and they had like even like a special line that was just for like ADA badge, which is like, I think it's the American Disabilities Act. And so
Mhm.
anything with like ADA compliance is just making sure that people with who need have accessible needs can get around. They had a lot of that, like signage everywhere, and just areas that were kind of more accessible. So I think overall the venue did fairly well. The one thing that I've noticed at conventions in general, which I don't think is necessarily the convention's fault, is just the amount of people. Sometimes I think people, it was hard to get around just because of the swarms of folks, because some people just kind of mass congregate and you're like walking like this
Oh
trying to
my
get through a
god.
crowd. Yeah.
See, I can't even imagine. Like, do you have a guesstimate of how many people that venue can hold, or how many
I
people might have been there at any given time?
It has to be in the tens of thousands.
Oh, wow.
Truthfully, it's huge, and there are multiple floors as well. So I was just on the expo hall floor the whole weekend. I know there was an artist alley on the basement level, which had like a bunch of like small artists. Unfortunately, I just didn't get time to go down there, but I would at least estimate the tens of thousands easily.
Oh my god. How do you not get sick?
A hope and a prayer. Oh, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I googled it really quick. Over 200,000 in
Oh,
past
wow.
years. Mhm.
Like, concurrently or over the course of a day?
At least over the course of 4 days, if nothing else.
Okay, okay. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. I myself, I a lot of hand sanitizer and a lot of vitamin C supplements. Like Halls has a Halls Defense, like vitamin C,
Right.
like 200% your daily dose. So like I took those every single day and was just very conscious about washing my hands and sanitizing my hands.
IP neon yellow, yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Okay, so fingers crossed. So you said you didn't get to see any artists, so
Mm.
or at least the kind of that sort of thing.
Yeah, unfortunately not, because of how I had to split my time. It was kind of like a juggling game with how much time I could go for myself and for my own selfish reasons versus for work.
Okay.
Mhm.
So any kind of thoughts with regards to what you experienced, what your best part of it was, or what maybe you'd like to see in the next Final Fantasy 14 event?
Yeah, so I knowing that events like this exist, I hope that there is always going to be a more integrated way to have like gaming in that nerd culture sphere, and I'm starting to see it in Comic-Con now. I truly love that. I think if I had to kind of translate that similar, like a similar thought to FanFest, for instance, I would love a FanFest kind of reach out more than what it has before. Like, mm, I know it's kind of tough with like licenses and everything, but like even having small vendors, I think is such a great idea. I
Mhm.
loved walking around, even if I didn't get to see all the artists in the bottom floor, just like really seeing the small folks come out with their passion projects and like being able to support them if I could, or take a business card even as I was walking by. I think that's just like part of that community building too. That's more than just this giant corporate conglomerate being like, buy our stuff, like really having more of those moments that are less about the sale and the purchase and more about like, how do we invite smaller vendors in here? How do we really get more experiences and less just like here's our online store in person.
Mhm.
And I started seeing a lot of booths do that too with like photo ops and like free giveaways and all this stuff, just like instead of feeling like it's a sales pitch like trade show, like how can you make this so that I'm going to have fun here that I can't have online? Because if I'm going out of my way and possibly getting sick and hundreds of thousands of folks, like I want an experience. I don't want an online store in person kind of thing.
No, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, with the feedback we had gotten on the last North American Fan Fest, what kind of big changes would you expect for the next one?
I hope that it's, if nothing else from the last fan fest that I heard about,
Mhm.
for North America, more organized. It sounds like the other fan fests were done a little bit better, and it sounds like we kind of got the Temu version, or maybe not the team. That's a little low. But like a kind of crummier version of it, and I think that comes down to operations planning and logistics. So maybe if we have some better people, a better venue that is well equipped to manage those types of crowds and those types of environments, I think it would really make everything go a lot smoother for everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, from what I understand, you've seen pretty much firsthand that you can manage large crowds in a very organized way, with the right resources and the right layout and everything. So,
Absolutely. Even with how crazy Comic-Con was, I didn't feel like my safety was in danger ever. Um and I didn't feel some of the crowds gave me stress, but it didn't feel stressful in the overall, which I thought was really refreshing, truthfully.
awesome.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your Comic Con experience. Now, hopefully, you can rest for a while. I mean, you're not doing anything tomorrow, right?
Thankfully, no. So the TLDR with that is because we had to work all 4 days. Like I said, I was doing a little bit of marketing and then kind of help running a booth and doing some sales in the booth. Today was a travel day. Tomorrow's a day off. I'll be working my normal Wednesday, Thursday, but no, I just get to have a little bit of downtime, which is nice. And it was, long story longer, it was really fun even meeting some of the folks that buy the products from my full-time job, and like
Mm.
actually one of them recognized me from being Pyra, which is fantastic. They're
Oh,
like,
wow.
we saw your PAX videos. I'm like, that's me. They're like, are you her? I'm like, that's me. So it was,
Yay!
yeah, it
Oh
was
my God, you're
exciting.
famous.
So famous. Yeah. No, it was definitely a really fun time, but like when you're in front of people constantly asking to take their picture or like, "Hey, you want to try this thing?" or it's just I'm burnt. So, I can't wait to have a few hours of R&R tomorrow and then get back at it.
Aw, well, you deserve it.
Thank you.
We've got a couple more things here. I just saw that there is a topic I forgot that is kind of newsworthy. And this I just saw this morning, so it's rather new news in the last couple of days here. So, in a recent interview with Korean news outlet Game Insight, Yoshi P revealed that they have the basics of the story for Final Fantasy XIV planned until 10.0. So he kind of knows
Wow.
what's going on all the way up until then and is just reassuring people that what they're doing right now is setting up a new track of dominoes so they can knock it all down at the end of that arc. Um we
Hmm.
we kind of knew they were staying ahead of it as of, like, Stormblood, I think. They kept mentioning that there were several expansions ahead, but hearing that we're just starting 7.0 and they've kinda know what going on until 10, seems pretty hopeful. What are your thoughts on that?
I definitely think it seems hopeful. I also feel like it might be part of like a marketing strategy. to keep people from thinking that the ship is just gone, like that the ship is sinking. Because
Mhm.
I feel like there's always, especially now with Dawn Trail's mixed opinions and kind of having to restart that trust, restart that arc again. Um, I think that's partially their way of being like, hey, don't worry, we're not letting this go, we're not letting this drop, like we're still here, we got this.
Right,
So
right. So, I mean, we gave our reactions to Dawn Trail, and we had some problems with it. Um, does this kind of make it feel a little better in the context of don't worry about it. We've got things planned out. This is all part of a grand strategy that you guys would like love if you knew what was going on, but we're just setting up the dominoes. Is that enough from Yoshi P to make you feel better?
I would like to be, I think so, mostly. Like it's kind of like the proof is in the pudding, as much as that's a weird phrase, but like,
Mm,
we'll believe it when we see it. I do believe that it'll happen though. Like Yoshi P has yet to make me mad. Like there's some moments that I'm like questionable, or like maybe I would have done that differently, but like I don't think he doesn't say anything unless he means it, like truthfully. So
that's true.
I at least appreciate that, like he said it, and then I'm fine with him saying like a rough idea, because they have to listen to the fans' feedback and see as they go what people like, what people don't like. So I'm also glad that it's not like we have the set in stone, it's not changing, because that would also suck.
Right. No, for sure. So, yeah, they did mention kind of keeping it open to be able to respond as kind of the community moves through the things. The
Hmm.
things. Ah, zombie tired. Um, but oh my god. But they they did it. I think I'm trying to remember what was said with Shadowbringers. Shadowbringers was supposed to come much earlier, or the events of Shadowbringers were supposed to
Mm,
come much earlier in the arc, but they pushed it back because they felt like, oh well, these are the threads that the people are really interested in, so we need some more time to really set it up for that impact that we
mm.
want. And honestly, Shadowbringers delivered on that impact. So I mean, at this point in time, this isn't their first rodeo, and we kind of have to trust that they know better than we do, kind of how to make us want it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. And I think they will always do that too, because they know what they're doing. They know how to pull on our heartstrings. They know how to make us yell at them over the internet to give us more. So I don't think that we'll have any lack of those emotional manipulation. I don't know if that's a healthy relationship type thing, but they do it.
Yep. And so I'm guessing the moral of the story is that we should look forward to another like Shadowbringer slash Endwalker finale to another arc or two, according to Yoshi, who feels that he could write the story for 14 over the next 20 years. If they would just give him the leeway. So, I am up for doing it all over again.
I'm totally down. Every time they can keep smashing my heart into pieces and then gluing it back together with silly glue.
Okay, but I mean, we're gonna find out at 7.1 what the next patch worth of MSQ story is and how much it kind of answers for us in terms of the questions we had. So, one of the reasons we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Okay, and what are we not talking about this week? You're like, I don't know. We listen. Um, Twitter. I will always call it Twitter.
Same.
A large majority of people has some problems. Okay, I don't imagine this is news to anyone. But these problems are becoming very noticeable. And in particular, the Final Fantasy XIV community is getting really sad on Twitter because all you see is the negative stuff, the bots, the hate, the instigation, the ads, the everything. And so over the last, I'll be generous and say week or two, a large majority of the Twitter population has moved over to other social media outlets, including Blue Sky, where they are founding a new 14 social media community, social community. Um, so we're not going to talk about Twitter. Now, I know it sounds crazy not talking about Twitter of all things, but in the spirit of helping a new, better, more positive community flourish on a different online space, we're going to put Twitter to bed. So, um, do you have any last words for Twitter?
Last words for Twitter. That is hard. I think the concept of Twitter has always been really good to me. Like the concept, like the platforms, I'm talking like a very high level back in the day, what was like the, tweeting and all that stuff. That I'm glad that that the platform helped set up that format, but I am also glad to start leaving that behind me, as that platform has outrun its course with negativity. So, um, to hell with Twitter.
Oh man. Fair. Listen, I first noticed it was going a little bit ago. I'd say about 6 months ago, because I would be scrolling and I would just get more and more upset. And the more and more upset I got, the more and more things it was showing me that would make me even more upset. And it seemed to be that every time I got on Twitter, I just got angry or sad or both. And I started mentioning it to my community because I wanted to get involved in it. I wanted to post more on it. I wanted to like really improve my social media presence. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. So I started asking around and getting on some of these new platforms that were appearing. I think there's another one that was like a B. I can't remember the B one. Um, anyway, there was a bunch of social media platforms that were trying to compete, but it looks like maybe Blue Sky has taken the lead. So I am on there. I'll be adding it to my list of social contacts. And you know what? I've been scrolling it for the last like week or so, and it's just people. Not a single post has appeared in my feed that isn't a legitimate person who is posting something. I see a lot of art. I see a lot of people being happy. I see a lot of positive comments. So, you know what, Twitter? I spent 30 years learning how to use you. And I finally figured it out, but maybe it's time that we went our own ways because this relationship is toxic. So, like you, I'm going to continue to use it as an outlet of communication between me and those who want that information, but I'm not going to browse it or spend any of my time looking at it. So,
Well said.
goodbye, Twitter.
Bye bye.
Okay. What are you up to this coming week?
I don't remember. It's been one of those crazy weekends last week. Probably regular stuff. I think this week's gonna be a pretty low-key week, so gonna go in for some re-clears on Wednesday night for Savage. We're still trying to get everybody their weapon, their mount, and all that stuff. And then probably transition into some UCOB and Ultimate Prog. Really, a lot of just prep before 7.1. Definitely taking advantage of some of the Moogle Tome things and Fall Guys. So
Mhm.
probably just a handful of chill streams along with like normal raid stuff.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. For me, I'm working again tomorrow. Wednesday, Thursday are going to be Dragon Age 2 days where I'm probably going to finish up Dragon Age 2, fingers crossed, and move on to Inquisition because we've only got 10 days till Veilguard. 10 days.
It's right there.
I've waited 10 years for this game that is now 10 days out, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna power through that. Roulettes and maps on Friday. Hopefully, Extreme number 2 on Saturday because I really want those dark wings. I got my first set of wings. I need my second set of wings. Most people would say the more superior set of wings, but
I would too. I don't have either of them, but I would.
do you have tomes? I think you said you have a stack of tomes. Do you?
Yeah, not a full stack, but I do
Mhm.
have some tomes. I just haven't been in the fight in a long time, so I gotta get back on that train soon.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm going to continue doing what I have been doing and AFK in the gold saucer until a gate pops up. Listen, you got to take advantage of this. Look, even if you get kicked out of a bunch of gates early on, you're guaranteed a Moogle Tome. But like Leap of Faith, if you just get to the goal, you get 3. If you get all of the trophies, including the goal, you get 4. Any way the wind blows, you can get 10. Like there are some. I think it was what was it? The Yojimbo one. No, Yojimbo. Yes,
Slices, right?
Slice is right.
Mm.
If you guess correctly and you guess the pile of coins that doubles your MGP, you can get, I think, 20 Moogle Tomes.
Whoa.
I've never gotten to the end. I'm not that good. But
I don't think I've ever won that one either, or if so, won.
yeah, there is some really good paydays, and with Fall Guys, you just stay there. You do Fall Guys in between, but that's where I'll be if you try to find me in game. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I know you literally just got off the train and hauled your butt onto stream, so thank you so much for being here. I bet you are absolutely exhausted.
I am. I couldn't. I didn't want to not have our podcast tonight though because I love it's the one of the best parts of my Monday. So I'm glad I was here, but I am also going to be really glad to get in my own bed and on an uncomfortable hotel bed and get some like long sleep.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I hope you have a fantastic night.
Thank
And
you.
thank you again. And thank you, everyone who watched on YouTube. Thank you so much. I see some chatters in chat. Thank you. Yeah, we'll be back next week, same time, same channel, with some more Final Fantasy 14 news. What day is next week?
Ooh,
Oh,
it's right before Halloween, so
okay, yeah,
the
it's still before
28th.
Halloween, and it's before the live letter. So hopefully we might have some more 14 news. Otherwise, we're gonna talk about
Spoopy. Probably something spoopy.
probably something spooky. Probably something spooky, and probably how many Moogle terms we farmed, because that's what we're asking our community. So take care, everyone. Love yourself as much as you love others, and we'll see you in game. Bye.
Bye.